And everybody, how are you doing? It's the Triple Radio Show! An alternative means of psychedelic masturbation. I'm going to keep saying that for at least the time being, because I like saying that and stuff
Much
like
better
that.
name.
I know, but I gotta I have to change it up and you know.
He's got to remember the good one he remembered.
Yeah, but
Right.
but I guess I've been saying it so long it breaks this bit. How everybody doing? Of course, this is S.STREET Media. In case you don't know where we are, it's that you see that logo right back there, S.STREET Media. So S.STREET Media. So in case you want to see us and any other of our great shows, definitely what's happening. Prez, what's going on, man? We were just talking about you, man. Prez is the brother that has the New York Gun Club that we are certainly going to have him on sometime, and we're going to be talking about the Second Amendment, the right to shoot motherfuckers only in defense, of course. But yeah, but everything else is good and stuff. Anyway, before we start, of course, I have to go ahead and introduce the other people on the show with me. We got the soul sister up in here. She's the cuddlest supreme, Jenna G. Hi, Jenna G.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
Yeah, okay. And of course, we can't do anything without the Kingster of Kingston, the
Kingston, I like that one.
he's the Speedo King and everything else going on. Hardy Brooklyn, everybody.
The king of the crazies.
The king of the crazies up in here.
Nice.
The king of the small draws.
And that's a perception thing.
All right, I hear you,
Definitely
man.
small draws, though, because they are tiny. I
I'm
like
saying the little boop-a-doops. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, October 14th, and you know everything up in here. You know, we be on tour. So we be changing times a little bit, but we'll get it together. I'm coming from she's coming from Billy. I'm coming from the West End of somewhere, just coming up to work. I got my luggage over there. So sometimes I just don't be. I'm just what's the saying? You mess with the bull, you get the horns, or you mess with the horns, you get the bull.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Or live out of the hood.
I like it back.
Take you forever to get back to the hood.
Absolutely, that's right, man. You never know what you're going to be getting out here in these mean streets. But anyway, we've got a special treat tonight. We actually are going to be speaking with Anne Roseboruogh. She is the executive music producer for a documentary that just came out. And actually, she's calling in right now. And I'm going to tell her to hold on a second. Annie, hold on one second. Anna, you're live with us. Hold on one second. I was actually just getting ready to tell her who we were getting ready to talk to. Don't say nothing yet. So hold on. So anyway, I was getting ready. Who I have on the phone right now is Annie Roseboruogh. She is the executive music producer for a documentary that just came out. It's called Driving While Black. And Driving While Black, Race, Space, and Mobility in America. And it just aired last night on PBS. And basically what it is, it's the documentary gives a historical viewpoint of the importance of people of color and their connection with cars. And it's not so much just out of convenience, just going from point A to point B, but it's historic connection and its symbolic connection as it relates to movement and just being checked where we're going, what we're doing. Do we belong here? How and that having to check in and feel like we still have to be addressed or address people about how we maneuver. So
and your existence at a lot of places are still there, and why things still exist. Like
right.
Stop and frisk laws replace the Green Book.
Right. So we're gonna go through all that. So first, I want to say hello, everyone, to Anne Roseboruogh. Anne, are you there? Annie, hold on one sec. Hold on.
Is it on speaker?
Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. Annie, can you hear me? Okay, hold on one sec. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, have her call mine. Well,
Okay, so we're
yeah,
not
give me the cable.
having little difficulties hearing you. All right, but
So this is a must-see movie. This is
I-
definitely a must-see movie. Everything that I've read about it online said this is a must-see movie that you should not hesitate to go out and see because it depicts how the car was. There was no weight between the car and the black person. They were able to go to a dealer that had a black person. There was no segregation when they were buying it.
Right.
So that created that upward path and it allowed for that connection to even start.
I watched it last night, and I really think that it should be required in school. I think it should be part of history that people should know about what was going on about Jim Crow. Everything. It was some of it was difficult to watch, just knowing the reality of it right now, what's going on in the world. But it's definitely. I think everybody should check it out.
And these movies are there because they need to kind of educate people because we used to say, I mean, when I was born, it said history repeats itself. Why does history repeat itself? Because we forget the past, we demonize the past, we diminish the past. And this is bringing the past to present so that hopefully history will not repeat itself again.
Right. Definitely. Really good movie, though. Just the information there was interesting because I had a conversation with my son earlier in the day about that and explaining to him about just talking about racism in general, and my son who's 9 was like asked why can't white people just accept that they didn't discover America, because he was learning about Columbus and what he really didn't do and what he represents, and so it was interesting that came on at the same time, and I had my son watch it as well. And, so much information in there, just that people that say that are ignorant, that will say things like all lives matter and not understand when somebody's saying, when they hear Black Lives Matter, this is the kind of information that they need to see and understand.
But so I think for a lot of those people, them seeing this is not going to change their perspective, and a lot of them have seen this and they discount it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these need to be seen by the younger people.
Hello?
For sure.
Oh, we got her back on.
okay, here we go. All right, thank you very much for being so being accommodating.
Yeah, no worries.
This is just not the day we were looking to have like this. But cool. But first, something that before we kind of go into the documentary and stuff, me and Ani, we spoke earlier a little bit, and I said to her, I said that as long as I've known Ani, she's we never actually conversed, or we never really had any lunch or had a drink or anything particular, but yet we've known each other about 25 years. So it's
Yeah.
funny how it all comes circle that this is actually our first time together actually working on something together
All these years later.
after all these years and stuff. And also I said to Ani how it's funny in terms of fate. My first time when I first started off as an intern at Columbia Records when I was about 21 or 22, she was the first person that I interviewed with, and she didn't pick me. And she didn't
So
pick
you were
me.
salty.
And I took it personally, but I ended up interviewing with another department with R&B promotions, and they took me, but for a
So
few
somebody accepted you.
for some time I side-eyed Ane for so long, and she never knew that it was even an issue until today when I just finally told her. I said, "Oh, I didn't know that." So it's funny how just things kind of
Yeah.
just work out.
Wow.
Yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. I had no idea. You didn't like me. I just walked around and, with a perpetual smile all the time, just being happy. So I just didn't see it, William. I did not see it. So.
I love that you call him William.
Yeah, only because it's been so long time. Her calling me anything is fine at this stage. 'Cause she ain't never called me nothing. So I ain't gonna even correct her on this. So it's fine. So yeah. But I'm so proud of you and your involvement with this project. It's so important right now. How did you actually take on this? How did you how'd you get involved?
Well, what's really funny is that my old boss at Sony, John Berger, who was head of the college department, he has a record company now called Valley Entertainment. And Valley Entertainment is the record company for the soundtrack. So he reached out to me, and because, I really stay current with new artists and everything, I was like, I would love to be a part of this because it's so necessary right now. Now we're living in very crazy times. The fact that PBS did this documentary, it's by Rick Burns and also a Gretchen Soren. It's just and I just had to be a part of this project. I really did. So, with all the young artists out there, I reached out to people. I got 3 amazing artists on that soundtrack, and and last night the response today has been just fantastic with the documentary itself, with the music, just really, really good. And unfortunately, it's a sad story, but it's a true story, and it's the truth, and we need to be aware so we could put a stop to this crazy racism that is still happening in 2020. Like, let's just bury racism this year. Like, that's it. It's done. We know the history of it. Not necessary. No one is better than anybody else because of the color of your skin. It's done. Let's move on. Let's be one country.
From your mouth to the president's ears.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing about it is that it's what's so difficult about it, and going back to the documentary, is the historic connotation that it has with going all the way back to slavery, where we always had to check in. We always had to be accounted for. We always had to report to someone what we're doing, what we can say, where we can go, and still to this day, it still resonates that we still are in that same mindset to a lot of people, well, to white people, not saying to the white people on the show, but to white people, where we still have to feel like we still are under some type of control.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that, we all need to realize that most white people in the South definitely did not own slaves. Who owned enslaved Africans? It was the rich white man. Most white people could not afford to have enslaved people working for them. And so what happened? Why was there this idea that poor white people who were working alongside enslaved Africans in many cases, when did that become where they did not see themselves as equals, even though they were doing the same jobs that a lot of the enslaved Africans were working? When did that happen? And that happened because the rich white man wanted the poor white man to be on his side, even though, the poor white man had more in common with the poor black man. And they talked about that last night, too, in the documentary. And so as a teacher of history, I stress that point to my students. The idea of race is a social construct that's not relevant, really. Even though they've made it relevant, but it's not. We are all human beings. We're all the same. And the other thing to think about as well is that if this whiteness was such a, if it was a thing, then why would white people have left Europe and come to America when in Europe everybody was white?
True.
Do you think? See, the thing about it is that it's like it's though white people never they never they've been told you can't treat black people this way. You can't, but they never. It seems like they never learned that they can't, and that's why it seems like there's still that small iota in their DNA or their teaching or their upbringing that there's still a superiority complex or something like that.
It's because a lot of white people are taught from a young age that the most important thing that you should be proud of is the fact that you're a white person. A lot of white people are like, you should be happy to be white. And I see this in a lot of people. The only thing that these white supremacists have to be proud of or happy about is what? That they're white. They got nothing else. They don't have college degrees. They're not educated. They don't own great businesses. These are the scum of the scum. And they treat their own white people the same way. If they're not on the same belief system as them, like if you go to the projects in New York, they treat the white and the black people are treated exactly the same way. Nobody treats people differently. All the poor people are treated the same way all poor people are because we're all oppressed by those 1%ers.
Right. Absolutely.
Do you? I guess when I want to, because I'm trying to. I don't like being socially, I just like saying it the way it is. That always works better for me, but sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. My thing is that one of the things that I learned, throughout the documentary, is that there's this overlap of the symbolism with the car, and for people don't really realize it's more, for us, it was more than just an automobile. It was just more than, so yes, of course, it allowed you to go from point A to point B, but it also was your house when you weren't welcome into a hotel or something. It was your dinner table if you weren't allowed to go into a restaurant,
Protection.
It was your protection. If you had nowhere to stay, or so I mean, for us, it has such a different historic connection than other races and stuff. So it was great that the car is so taken for granted.
No, absolutely. You are right. And so the other part of the documentary, just with the cars and not being able to stay in places, then they talked about the Green Book.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually bought a copy of a Green. Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was the same one. But I bought a copy of one, and I took a look at it. And of course, a lot of the places that were in it are just not around anymore. But you really think about that. Like right now, we take for granted. We can get in our car, and I could drive anywhere, and then I could just find some random hotel and stay. But my ancestors, when they decided to take a road trip, they had to really plan it out. Like, okay, we could stop here, we could eat here, we could stay at this hotel, and that's like
You have to
it's
worry
just
about
time.
your safety.
Yeah, it was something that really stuck with me too, William. Just seeing that the documentary, like you had to do that much planning. When you get the car, it's your freedom, but then you weren't able to have that freedom as other car holders had. The other thing in the documentary that was really interesting was the highway system as well.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that part, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
How they,
okay.
yeah, how they chose, how black areas, that's where they put the highways.
Yeah, they did that.
They were closer to the exits.
Well,
ruining neighborhoods.
The values that it was already deemed that the neighborhood was already depreciated. So since we were not part of those zoning meetings, or we weren't involved with any type of development type of meetings or any city hall meetings, it was already pre-decided already that this particular area was, we can put a highway through there, and it was we gave, according to the movie, the less resistance and we were less represented. So they didn't have to consult with us. They just already decided
they wanted.
that we can put this highway right through this neighborhood and stuff like
Right.
that. And also, going back for some people that don't know what a green book is, the green book was actually where you can go as you travel through the South, where you can go, where you can eat, pretty much
Where you can get gas.
where you can get gas, and so it was a how to kind of survive, a traveler's how to survive as you're going through the South. When do you think those green books were mostly popular? Was it more Jim Crow, pre-Jim Crow? Probably was after Jim Crow. Yes, you think? Probably.
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is, William, is that the green books had so the one that I have a copy of, it was all 50 states. It was all the states, and some states had one place you could stay in. The state of New Jersey had a lot, and the state of New York there were a lot, but some states had like one or two places which were listed in the green book.
Wow.
For the whole state. I looked through it and I was like, oh my God, like if I was going to travel, say Kentucky or whatever, there were so few places. So I had to make sure I was gassed up and there was enough food in the car, for the kids and everything. If I was going to be taking that trip through that state, these are things to think about. And this stuff is not far. This is not like 100 years ago,
It was like
not 100 years ago.
Like
It's
70
recent
years ago.
history.
50,
It's recent.
50, 60 years ago still. And it still happens. I mean, you look on the TV, every week there's somebody getting fired from a hotel for doing just that.
Oh my God! Yeah, yeah. It's just the country, we are at a turning point where this year so many things have happened, so many things have changed, that my prayer and my hope is that we emerge out of this like a phoenix.
Mm.
We just emerge like a phoenix out of this, and America becomes the strong nation that it really is meant to be. And I say that because of the diversity that we have in this country, the different people, the different cultures, the different everything. And we've got to, we just have to respect the differences and just be more welcoming to each other. Because truth be told, it was the Native Americans here before any of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to
Yes,
not
they
be
were.
afraid. I mean, the reason why where we're at is because a bunch of stinky old white men are afraid of the world changing and not being the picturesque thing they remembered when they were kids before they went senile.
That's a good point. That's you know what, and I would agree with that. That's just fearful of fearful of what I don't. That's things like, what are you really scared of? What are you scared of? Equality.
Yes, they are.
But can you imagine somebody saying that I'm scared of equality? Because that's what they would have to say. I'm scared of people being equal.
I think my experience from what I've always heard, the extreme is the world is going to turn black. Everything, if there's certain type of progress, the whole world is going to be black. I mean, everybody's going to be everything's going to be coming to us. All these decisions are going to be made by us and stuff like that.
But
So
that's because they're afraid. They're afraid that they might not have control and the decisions might not be made in the way they want them to be, or the way that their church told them it should be.
Now you being the executive music producer of the project. Now, how were you able to? What was your inspiration in terms of seeing the scenes or seeing the footage and kind of marrying the music along with the documentary?
Well, I cannot take credit for that. Okay, the score was done by Brian Kane. He scored the film, and that was him. My job was to find more contemporary artists who had made songs that had a social justice leaning to them. but the scoring with the music in the background and the sessions and a lot of songs on the soundtrack, that was Brian Kane. Brian Kane is an incredible producer. He's won so many Emmys. He's a white guy. He's an older white guy, but his ear is impeccable. You know, I got a chance to spend a day in the studio with him, and with like Cyrus Chestnut was there, the jazz musician, and some other jazz artists were there, and it was just it was beautiful, like the creation of music. When you have somebody who knows what they're doing, you have musicians who are just top notch, who know how to play, the drummer, the piano player, the saxophone player, like they know what they're doing. And Brian was able to just extract the brilliance out of their music. And so Brian King gets that credit. He gets that credit. I thought the scoring was incredible. Like, the music was right on time with the different scenes. I mean, did you agree with that too?
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah.
So the songs that you selected for the documentary, what inspired you to go that route? And I'm sure a lot of people submitted music to you, but why did these particular songs? Is there anyone in particular that kind of stood out for you more than any of the other any of the other songs that you selected?
Well, do you know what? So for me, there's a few songs on there actually the soundtrack is incredible. It's a great soundtrack. So it's a combination of contemporary of R&B songs, rap, jazz, and blues. So Joe Louis Walker has a track on. If you like blues, Joe Louis Walker's track is incredible. So the songs that stand, I mean, I can't even choose a favorite, but Kyla Imani, the young artist whose song was played at the end over the credits, No Humanity, it's her song, and it's beautiful. And she wrote that song out of just frustration with seeing what was going on in the world with George Floyd, and just how black men are getting, attacked and murdered, by the people that are supposed to protect us. So she wrote that song, so No Humanity is beautiful. Hands Up by Jermaine Love Songs, but now he changed his name to Johnny. Incredible song. And when I heard that, I was like, this has got to be on the soundtrack. This has got to be in the movie. So it was immediate. And then finally, the last song, Mark Ferguson's, his song is amazing as well. But by the time I got that, the soundtrack, the scoring was done. So his song is just on the soundtrack, but it's a really strong, like, rap, R&B track that has the potential to be very, very big. Like, we just got some really quality music on this thing, really quality, and the jazz tunes, man. Honestly, this thing is really, really special, and I don't think an album like this has been done, not to my knowledge, where you just have the mixture of rap, R&B, blues, and
all
jazz.
Together, yeah.
All
it's a great
on
look.
one
Great.
album.
This is a great album.
Right. It's incredible. On one album, you have the gamut of black music. The one we are missing is rock and roll, because we all know that black people started rock and roll. But other than that, covered on this one album. And that's why it is very special, very special.
One thing I certainly can appreciate is that you didn't go the Hemi route. For some apparent reason, any particular documentary about us coming through the 50s, the 60s, the Jim Crow, there's usually some type of hymn-based music or song or chant, that we always have to endure. So I'm glad that you didn't go that route and you made it more modern and contemporary, like you said. Because I think sometimes when we go that route, it's almost like a reminder part. When we start to me it's a stagnant it's a conditioning of stagnant when you keep going to things that are a little bit more hymny. Yes, it has a historic background to it, but but I think that the music that you selected definitely is much more current, much more forward thinking and reacting. So definitely I enjoyed the soundtrack.
And everything with the content that was being taught, the history, everything just meshed together. It just flowed really beautiful. Especially the blues.
Yes.
I'm a big lover of blues, and it was just appropriate with everything, all the content that was being expressed. Really good.
How many songs are on the album that didn't make it to the movie?
13.
Wow.
Because the album itself tells a story.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Couple more things that I wanted to know. Was there a really, what part of the movie at any point, was there anything that you took kind of personal that was really heavy for you, or that gave you a personal reaction to it, or just the whole movie? Because I mean, something me and Jennifer was talking about earlier was the gentleman at the end.
And the woman that was pulled over by the police, and the cop was telling her to put her hands up, and she's like, "I have a baby in my hands." Like, that was heart-wrenching to hear, because that's a reality.
Wasn't it?
That's a reality right now.
yeah.
Like, that's current right now, today. That's happening to somebody. So that really
Right.
that was really difficult. Like, that was really touching, and just you can see the reality of it, and to hear the woman saying, she's like, I have a baby in my hands, and she has to explain that to a police officer, and I don't.
Right.
Who can see that?
It got me angry thinking about police. That I get police. If there's a criminal, that they're doing something wrong. The police are not supposed to kill guilty people either. Do you know what I mean? They're killing innocent people, and they're not supposed to be killing anybody. So it's really. It just resonated with what's going on right now currently, and hearing that woman and the desperation in her voice, that what do you mean put my hands up and I'm holding a baby? I'm supposed to drop my baby on the ground? It was tough.
And it's something somebody told me, something I said to someone. Somebody said to me one time that God doesn't like to be questioned. And I said, I don't think that's necessarily it. God doesn't mind being questioned, but he doesn't like being challenged. So that's why I think it's almost the same thing when it comes to police, is they feel like they're being challenged, where the
Right.
aggression comes in and
Right.
stuff like that. And
I think that they discussed that in the movie when, definitely with black families. It's like, okay, if you get stopped by the police, let them always see your hands and just comply. Like, listen, I've been stopped by the police, and I really do comply. There's no attitude. I'm like, what did I do? And I'm here to talk about it. And I think that, I don't know if you guys remember last year or maybe a few months, well, it's probably last year now, but the owner of the Mets, he was stopped and the police drew guns on him because
No, it was the Yankees.
The Yankees,
Yeah, Brian Cashman.
Yeah, and he was all like, and he was so nervous, but they thought he had stole the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at that, and I'm like, the way he just complied, he got out. He was so shaken up, but he was so calm.
Mm-hmm.
But the guns were, that always stuck with me, and it just always stuck with me how calm he was, even though he was very, very upset, and they made a mistake, and they apologized and stuff, and sorry, but it's,
But
it's good that.
I don't think they made a mistake. I think that they did it because of who they thought he was, and they made a judgment based on their training
No,
and
he's
their
white
methodology.
though.
He's white. Brian Cashman is a general manager of the Yankees, and the thing about
Yeah,
it,
no, yeah.
no,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
not owning. No, that's he no, how the Steinbrenners own the Yankees, but Brian Cashman.
it was somebody who did. It was somebody.
No, it was Brian Cashman. Definitely.
It was right. That that happened, and the way he responded, and so whenever I've been stopped, I always respond super calm and just like, what did I do? Da da da. And then and I really make sure because I don't want to be on the news. I don't want anything to happen to me. Like I'm a mother, I want my kids to, to be able to see me.
And not to cut you off, and it's crazy. And like I said, with the differences during that time of slavery, during the time now, and in our modern day times, the certain questions are the same thing. Give me your paperwork, whether it's then let me see your paperwork, if you're free or who do you belong to. Today, let me see your license and registration. Where are you going? Back in that day, they'll ask you when you're going today, whether you're jumping the turnstile or you're getting pulled over. Where are you going?
Right. There's nobody's business where you're going. You have to explain yourself to somebody. That's crazy. That's the world we're in.
And they're taught that. That's part of the problem. They're taught that by the blue wall.
Yeah.
But William, you asked me a question about was there anything in the movie that really touched me?
Mm-hmm.
And the part that touched me was just the fact that you have black families just enjoying being in a family. You have the mom, the dad, the kids in a car doing stuff in nice homes, dressed professionally. That is what struck me because that is the root, that's the foundation of black families that I know. You understand?
Absolutely.
Yes, not the stereotype, not the stereotypical stuff that you may see in the movies, but just a family doing regular family stuff, like going on a ride. That's what touched me, and that's the stuff that I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see that when black families are portrayed, and on TV shows or whatever, in movies. Just we do the same stuff that white families like to do.
Absolutely.
We enjoy. That's what I'm saying. We have more in common. We as Americans have more in common than we have, things that separate us. And the other thing is that I've traveled quite a bit. Like my dad was in the Army, so I grew up in Germany. So that's a whole different thing there because living in the Army base in Germany, there's so many mixed couples. Grew up in Germany. My ex-husband was from Switzerland, so I've lived in Switzerland. I moved to England when I graduated from university. Being married, I lived in Hong Kong. I had my son in Hong Kong. I've been to different countries in Africa, been to Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, just all over the place, all over Europe. But one thing I can say is that when I am traveling, as soon as I open my mouth, people say, "Where are you from?" And I say America. And then what's the next thing they say? I love America. Mm-hmm. And then a whole conversation starts. Like random people. Like I don't know them. I'm just traveling. And I've actually been in Cairo, Egypt by myself. Got lost. Somebody helped me, and just somebody helping me. Where are you from? America. I love America, but you have a crazy president because Trump was president. But when I was traveling,
oh yeah,
but kinds of crazy.
Absolutely. Too bad
right. Under Obama, I remember I was in Morocco when Obama was president. I love Obama. You have a great president. So people see us as Americans, when I'm if I'm in the country and I run into other Americans, it's not a matter of your skin color being white or black. It doesn't. You are an American, and you have this connection just right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lived in Switzerland for a while. I lived in Switzerland a couple of times. The last time I lived there, you know, my kids were at school, and so all the expats, all the American expats, we would all socialize together and hang out. And the connection was, once again, we were American, and a Canadian family too. Actually,
Wow.
we had a Thanksgiving dinner together. I think I made macaroni and cheese. Somebody made the pie. Like, we have we've got to learn to appreciate us as a collective unit of being Americans, regardless of the color of your skin or your religion, or any of these little silly things, because we are Americans first.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our connection. That's our connection.
What advice would you give, especially like single mothers, when they have boys? You know, what type of advice do you give them, young children, or coming up, and maybe certain women aren't some of them are conscious, some of them are militant, but what's basic information that you tell your son as he's coming up or growing up that he needs to know as they come across police officers?
And he's not white.
Well, so I can explain it a little bit. So the question you're asking me is something that I had to go through. So, my ex-husband is Swiss. So we were divorced in 2013. Well, 2014. My ex-husband moved back to Switzerland, and my kids and I stayed here. I have a son and a daughter. So my kids are half, mixed. They're mixed. But no one is looking at either of my children and thinking they're white. So they identify as black. They're black kids. They know they're mixed. They know their daddy's Swiss. They know that, who I am. I did a DNA test, so I know my ethnic makeup as well. Yes, they may have more white blood in them than they do African blood. But I know this country of America, that one drop rule is very prevalent. So with my son and daughter, definitely with my son, I'm always like, Danny, if you ever get stopped, you just be as friendly as possible. That's it. You do not get attitude, because giving attitude, you're going to make somebody mad. Just in general, it doesn't matter. It could be police or your teacher or the mayor of your town or your next door neighbor. Attitude really determines your aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
And William, I think I mentioned to you, because you know me, I actually walk around, I smile all the time.
Absolutely.
And I do that. Yeah, I do. And I've been doing that for years, because it actually makes you feel good when you're just smiling. But it's really good to not have a bad attitude. Nasty attitudes really hurt you in so many ways. I'm an AKA as well. I'm in the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha. So go Kamala. Kamala Harris is a soror.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No.
So yes, ski wee. So, one of the things your attitude determines your aptitude. I say that to my students as a teacher. I tell my students that all the time. I've had young ladies over the years. I'm like, you got to get rid of the attitude. Teaching is my third career too, by the way. So the music industry is my longest. I've been in the music industry now for 30 years. Then I had my marketing consultancy starting in 2000. And then in 2010, I started teaching. So right now, I feel like I have my hands in everything that is very important to me, like my passion. So I love music. Music is my heart. Mm-hmm. But I also recognize the importance of education and how education can really help you get out of whatever, education can help you achieve your goals. Yeah. It can help you achieve your goals, whatever those goals may be. And I tell my students that all the time too. The ones that may give me some problems, I'm like, listen, I'm here to help you. You're at school, high school is a stepping stone. You may not, if you don't want to go to college, fine, but make sure you learn to do something. You could join the military. You can learn a trade. If you want to be an artist, you might need to get another job while you're making that art in order to pay your bills. Because I'm also a believer in following your dreams.
Mhm.
So the stuff I'm telling you, William, are the things that I told my kids. Both of my kids are in college now at Pitt.
Nice.
My son just joined ROTC at Pitt. It just worked out, where they went to the same college. My son's a junior, my daughter's a freshman. And so, I drove them to Pittsburgh, and then I came back home, and it made it a lot easier for me to move them into college, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just one college, so I didn't have to drive all around. But so those are the things I told them. Just really be nice. Do not give attitude. Answer their questions.
The double standard is like
And
the
make sure you're not
frustrating
getting
part.
in any trouble either. Don't get in any trouble.
It's
You
such-
know?
And the thing about it is, and it's just like the music industry. And I was telling you, Anna, that I'm as long as I've been in the industry, I mean, I'm still I'm taking the Clive Davis Music Essentials course just to sharpen my skills. And the thing about it, what these young cats know, it doesn't matter how much you know how it works. You can know how departments work and whatnot, but there's still a certain game that you have to. It's knowing how to apply it is one thing, but there's a certain thing that you also still got to learn in terms of how do you maneuver. And so but like you said, your attitude definitely kind of takes you down the path of how you're going to be handled or how you're going to be dealt with. Just because you might know a certain thing about how this works, from step to step to step to step, if you don't know how to deal with this particular person, it doesn't even matter.
If you're shitty about it.
Right.
Right. So attitude definitely offsets a lot of problems. It definitely at least kind of diminishes, de-escalates. That's the word. De-escalates certain problems and stuff like that. And I get it that you're being violated right then and right there. But also we also have to meet them halfway in terms of trying to de-escalate it yourself.
Right.
Yeah, because you're expected to be calm and quiet with a gun in your face. Like how are you supposed to do that when your life is in danger? You're seeing it in front of your eyes, thinking that you're possibly going to die and take your last breath, but you're supposed to remain calm.
So
Such
it's
a
like
double
right,
standard.
how come but they also have to calm it down. You see him upset. You see you're approaching me. You have a gun. You have a uniform. You're addressing me. I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, if I did something wrong, I know it's not a big deal. But so that's that balance where we have to feel like we can't be panicky, but they don't. But they have to figure out how to not make us panicky. And it's
Yeah.
always, it's always going to be the benefit of the doubt for us. We don't never get that benefit of the doubt. It's already a believed notion. We're guilty already. We've done something, or you look like you're about to do something, or you look like you're about to give me attitude. So I'm already ready for this.
Well, you already gave me attitude, but I didn't talk to you yet.
So so.
Yeah, it's listen, we are, we're all aware of the current climate. I think that it would behoove any of us, all of us, to, you want to walk out of whatever situation healthy and alive. And, fortunately, we know, we've seen the footage sometimes that is so like, oh my God, you just, you just see this footage and, it's just, you just like, God, like, what the hell? Like, yeah, the documentary last night had a lot of that footage in there, and it really was, just to see all of it just on one thing, it was a lot. And I think they showed the Sandra Bland footage as
Yes,
well.
a little bit of that. Yes.
It is.
Yeah, and that was just, I saw it when they released it, and then I saw it again, and I just, oh my God.
So I
I
mean,
don't know.
and one more thing. Did you get to see the movie Antebellum? Did you
Wait,
see
did I see what?
what did the movie is it Antebellum? Antebellum. Did you see that movie yet?
The one with Janelle Monáe?
Yes.
You know what? I have not seen it yet, but I
Oh,
want. It's on
damn.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I wanted to mention it, but yeah, I'm not. I
Is
can't
it
tell
good?
you if
It's
you didn't.
good.
It is. I think it is. It is on.
Okay, I need to check it out. I need to check it out, and also, since I just mentioned Janelle, I told you I talked to Kalindo Parker. He's been playing with her for years, the guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be on next week, so you can ask him
I will.
about Janelle and everything. Like he's going to be on your show next week.
I know that's.
And
I cannot
so
wait.
I now need to watch Antebellum because
It's
I,
it's definitely different. I'll talk about it when you see it. You got to see it. All right, but I kept you on longer than I wanted to, but oh my gosh, you are just such a sponge. Tell us
It's an important topic.
It absolutely is.
Wait, can I just say one thing? I love what you were saying about getting rid of racism because it made me think of COVID, like all the things that have been canceled in society right now with COVID going on. So how about we cancel racism too?
Yeah, good luck. You might have to try to put that in the law, along with the
wait,
with
say
the
that
voting.
again because I didn't hear what she said.
I
Say
said
that
that
one more time.
I said that with COVID, so many things have been canceled in society and this cancel culture that we're in. So how about we just cancel racism? Like you were
Yes.
saying, let's just cancel it. Everything, sports got canceled, all these different things, school got canceled. Let's cancel racism.
Yes,
Let's cancel racism. Let's cancel the idea of white supremacy.
absolutely.
Let's just cancel these things because it's silly. It makes no sense.
Well,
You're right. Cancel. Let's use cancel culture for something that's good. That
That's
when
something
2021
positive.
rolls around, something
that we need to
positive,
cancel.
right?
Those people are mean.
yeah, so we definitely need the support of other races to kind of offset that because us alone isn't going to get it done. Us by itself.
No, it's working together.
Absolutely.
It's really
That's
working
right.
together.
That's right.
Okay.
It is
So
working together.
So Ani, thank you so much for talking to us. Give us your social media handles so people
Yeah,
can keep in
thank you.
contact with you.
Thank you for having me. It's Ani Roseborough. It's ANE_Roseborough. So it's my name. I wasn't too creative with that. I was like,
Original.
Let me
That's
just
your
keep-
name.
yeah, I wasn't too creative. Just wanted to use my name. So and Instagram, it's Ani ANE_Roseborough ROSEBOROUGH. Instagram, Facebook, it's Ani Roseborough. Twitter, it's Ani Roseborough. So you can find me anywhere. But guys, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really, really appreciate it.
Honey,
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
accommodating.
Thank you.
Sorry for all of the hiccups and stuff like that, but thanks
Oh,
for sticking
please,
in.
no worries. No worries. This was fun. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks for listening to the listeners out there.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
I'll
Ani.
speak to you
Thank
soon.
you. All right. Ciao, ciao. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Later. But yeah, man, that was heavy stuff.
Yeah, everybody's got to check that documentary out.
Heavy
Really.
stuff.
You got to check the soundtrack out.
The name once again it is Driving While Black: Race, Space, and Mobility in America. So we are getting ready to also wrap it up for ourselves because I guess we're getting ready for another programming that's getting ready to come on right after. Go ahead, Jenna G. Where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Instagram at Jen Tattoos with a Z. Also, you can reach me at cuddlist.com/Jennifer L/ if you're interested in having a cuddle session.
Mr. Hardy Brooklyn.
You can reach me on Instagram at hardybrooklyn.nyc. You can get me on the web in lots of places, hardybrooklyn.com, boxerrain.com, or freeandopenmind.com.
And it's your boy Will BK. You can catch me, William Kirksey, on Facebook. Trip Over Radio Show, TRIPOVER1RADIO Show on Instagram, and also Will BK, WILLBEEKAY, also on Instagram. And this has been on S.STREET Media. Definitely check out us every Wednesday from 8 to 10, and just check out S.STREET Media for other great shows that are on here. So I am going to. I got a couple of more minutes. Hey,
Come on from 9 to 10 on Wednesdays.
Huh? Oh, they're going to be on 9 to 10?
We are.
Oh, we are gonna be
That's
on.
that's our new time, 9 to 10 Wednesdays.
Oh, 9 to 10 Wednesdays. Oh, we're 9 to 10. But
You forgot already. Those microchips, you better
Yeah.
get them in check.
I was telling her my memory bank is like microchips. So it's 9 to 10 on Wednesdays and stuff like that. Man, I'm just bugging out. So anyway, we're getting ready to get out of here. So hopefully you had a good time, and you can always check us out here. This is the Trip Over Radio Show once again. The alternative means of psychedelic mess of. My teeth is getting all in the way. Alternative means of psychedelic masturbation. So anyway, tune in. Make sure you vote.
Make sure you vote,
Make sure you vote.
no matter what state you're in.
Vote, vote,
That's
vote.
right. Take care of each other. Walk your drunk friend down to the street. Make sure that everyone's safe and whatnot. Wear a mask. Wipe your butt. Later.
Butt itch.
Peace.
Peace, everybody.